How I resigned from my warehouse job after management tried to force us into dangerous tasks for bonuses. This is the story of how I resigned from my warehouse job once and for all. The company I used to work for had recently implemented a new way of paying management commissions and bonuses. The new system worked on a money saved, money paid model, meaning that every little cost-saving measure came with a bonus. If you saved money on stationery, you'd get a $100 bonus. If you didn't spend money on store repairs, you'd get $500. Normally, this wouldn't have affected the employees, but there were a few categories that were outright dangerous, and unfortunately, they were also the ones with the biggest bonuses attached. The issue began when the manager and area manager asked us to change the light panels in the store. There were several problems with this. First, the lights were old, and the wiring was faulty and unpredictable. Second, the way the lights were rigged meant you'd need proper electrical training to safely remove the panels and replace the bulbs. Management hoped we'd take on the work ourselves, saving the cost of hiring a professional electrician, which would mean a huge bonus for them. I outright refused to do the job, but some of my coworkers were roped into it. That all changed after one of them received a mild electric shock while attempting the task. After that incident, we all banded together and said, "No way, we're not doing this." A week later, we received an email with a link to a new online training course. The course's main focus was that warehouse employees were now expected to take on various maintenance tasks, including changing lights and light panels. If we didn't complete the training, we'd be deemed unsuitable employees, which could lead to termination. I was furious. I immediately set about taking screenshots of everything, including the mandatory tests. It became obvious very quickly that I was one of the only employees who refused to complete the training. Soon after, I was confronted by the area manager, who told me I had 1 week to complete the course, or I'd be written up with an official warning. He explained that due to the severity of the warning, I could face disciplinary action, or even immediate termination. What management didn't count on, though, was that I would share this information with outsiders. How I resigned from my warehouse job after management tried to force us into dangerous tasks for bonuses. Part 2. I decided to take action. I put together a comprehensive packet containing all the new training requirements, tests, and the details of the management bonus structure. The packet explicitly stated that if managers got employees to perform in-store repairs and save the company money, they would receive a hefty bonus. There was even an award for the most money saved, which incentivized management to cut corners at the expense of our safety. In addition to this, I included emails and texts that showed management was violating multiple health and safety guidelines. One of the worst violations was the complete lack of warehouse staff to safely unload trucks and containers. The company expected us to do it ourselves, despite not having the necessary manpower, which could lead to serious injury. The worst part of it all was finding that, in our contracts, there was a clause that stated we weren't officially covered to unload transfers or trucks. This meant that if any of us got hurt during the unloading process, the company wouldn't cover our medical expenses. They expected us to do the work without compensation or protection. To make sure everything was legal, I checked in with my best friend, a lawyer, who helped me navigate any non-disclosure issues and pointed me in the right direction. Once everything was prepared, I sent off the packet to the appropriate parties. After that, things seemed to go back to normal for a while. However, management kept trying to pressure me into doing dangerous tasks for their bonuses, but I remained firm in my refusal. The situation finally reached its breaking point when the area manager told me that if I didn't sign off on the next shift, I would be fired on the spot. Despite explaining the dangerous situation and pleading my case, the area manager tried to spin it as a new company-wide initiative and insisted that I should be proud to work there. It was all just a load of garbage. The next day, I walked into work prepared for another shift, but to my surprise, the store was practically deserted. I opened the warehouse, checked the transfer sheets, and grabbed my water bottle. As I was standing by the water filter, the customer service manager came downstairs with a knowing smile on his face. Apparently, the store manager was under close review, having to answer for all the corners she had cut to make her bonuses. How I resigned from my warehouse job after management tried to force us into dangerous tasks for bonuses. Part 3. The best part was that the area manager and general manager were both fired. They were given the choice to resign without any payouts or benefits, or else the shareholders and CEO would launch an investigation into their practices. I could hardly believe it. A few hours later, the CEO and CFO arrived, and they tried to offer me a bonus for speaking up. They also offered me a formal apology and a raise, hoping I would drop the case. I grabbed my bag and resigned right on the spot. There was no way I was going to drop the case. I had exposed their practices, and I wasn't about to let them get away with it. As I walked out of the store, I felt an overwhelming sense of satisfaction, knowing that management would be investigated for their actions and that something would be done about the way they had mistreated their employees. From what I've seen online, the company never fully recovered. They've been bought and sold multiple times, and they lost millions of dollars due to bad publicity. Employee and public trust had been shattered, all because management wanted to save a few bucks and reward their greed. To this day, the company still hasn't fully recovered from the mess they created. They sacrificed their employees' safety for a quick buck, and it cost them everything.